The Detroit Pistons of the late 1980s and early 1990s are remembered as the ultimate villains of the NBA, a team that not only redefined how defense was played, but also succeeded in frustrating the league's superstars, including the legendary Michael Jordan. Known as the Bad Boys, their nickname embodied their physical style of play, defiant attitude, and win-at-all-costs philosophy. But were they truly as bad as their name suggests, and as good as people say? It all started during an era when the Pistons were little more than an NBA afterthought. In 1980, Detroit endured one of its worst seasons with 66 losses, followed by another disastrous 60-loss season in 1981. The Silverdome, a stadium with an 82,000-seat capacity, felt like a ghost town, with only about 5,000 fans per game. Detroit, a city battered by crime and recession, wasn't attracting players or fans. However, everything changed with a pivotal move in the 1981 draft. That year, the Pistons selected Isiah Thomas, a 6'1" point guard who had led the Indiana Hoosiers to an NCAA championship. Isiah didn't want to play in Detroit, preferring a destination like Chicago, his hometown. He even tried to sabotage his interview with the Pistons by giving evasive answers and showing little enthusiasm. But general manager Jack McCloskey, nicknamed Trader Jack for his shrewd trade-making skills, saw something special in him. Thomas was selected second overall, and thus began a new era for the Pistons. Thomas made an immediate impact. During his rookie season, the team improved by 18 wins, but McCloskey knew he couldn't rely on Isiah alone. During a game in Cleveland, McCloskey noticed a center named Bill Laimbeer, who played with unrelenting intensity and toughness, even when his team was down by 20 points. McCloskey didn't hesitate and signed Laimbeer at the next trade deadline. Laimbeer, known for his rough play and controversial tactics, quickly became the NBA's most hated player and the perfect complement to Isiah Thomas. With Thomas and Laimbeer leading the way, the Pistons began to show glimpses of competitiveness. But it wasn't enough to make the playoffs in the early years. Determined to build a truly competitive team, McCloskey made several key decisions. In 1985, he drafted Joe Dumars, a guard with exceptional defensive skills, and the next day acquired Rick Mahorn, a player known for setting hard screens and bringing an imposing presence to the court. But the true transformation came when McCloskey added two pieces that would change the team's destiny: John Salley and Dennis Rodman. Rodman, who had a troubled past and was working as an airport janitor just a few years before joining the NBA, brought unmatched energy to the team. His tenacity and dedication made him stand out, and he quickly became one of the Pistons' most important defensive pillars. In 1987, the Pistons were ready to challenge the Boston Celtics, the dominant team in the Eastern Conference. Their playoff series was an epic battle, with every game pushing the limits of physicality. In a memorable moment from Game 5, Isiah Thomas made a costly mistake by throwing a pass that was intercepted by Larry Bird, allowing Boston to steal the game in the final seconds. Despite the loss, the Pistons proved they could compete with the best. The 1988 season was a turning point. Under head coach Chuck Daly, the Pistons adopted a full-court defensive philosophy, designed to press and harass opponents all game long. This made them notorious and highly effective, to the point of becoming the NBA's most hated team. The tactic wasn't just physical, it was psychological. The Pistons aimed to mentally break their opponents, and while they didn't lead the league in technical fouls, their reputation was built on hits, pushes, and unparalleled aggression. Bill Laimbeer, infamous for his dirty plays, such as stepping into shooters' landing zones and other strategic hits, cemented his place as the NBA's most hated player. But for the Pistons, all of this was part of the plan, and it worked. They won a franchise record 54 games that season and averaged 25,000 fans in attendance, the highest in the league. Dennis Rodman, with his boundless energy and physical play, became a nightmare for opponents and a symbol of the team's relentless spirit. In the 1989 playoffs, the Pistons faced Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls. It was then that they introduced the infamous Jordan rules, a strategy designed to stop Jordan with double teams, constant pressure, and both legal and illegal hits. Jordan, known for his resilience, suffered like never before, and the Pistons won the series in 6 games. This victory propelled them to the finals, where they swept the Lakers, featuring Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, to win their first championship. The success didn't stop there. In 1990, with Rodman earning the Defensive Player of the Year award and the team more cohesive than ever, the Pistons won another title by defeating the Portland Trail Blazers in the finals. However, in 1991, the Bulls, stronger and more determined, finally overcame the Pistons, sweeping them in the series and marking the end of the Bad Boys era. The most symbolic moment came when the Pistons, led by Isaiah Thomas, walked off the court without shaking hands with the Bulls, a gesture many considered unsportsmanlike, but one that encapsulated their defiant attitude to the very end. With the departure of key players and the passage of time, the Bad Boys dynasty came to an end, but their legacy lives on. The Pistons proved that sometimes champions aren't just admired heroes, but necessary villains who challenge the norms and push the limits. Every hero needs a villain, and in NBA history, no team embodied that role better than the Bad Boy Pistons. After watching this video, what do you think about the Bad Boy Pistons? Do you think their attitude was the best way to become winners? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your opinion. And remember, if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe.